Hello and welcome to the second installment of Sunday Skate Hour. I am your host, Andrew, aka Funeral Burgundy, aka I Put My Heart in This. This is a weekly podcast posted every Sunday morning so you can sit back, relax, and start the day off right by listening to me talk. And before we get into the topics today, I want to thank everyone for the love on the first episode, and I'm beyond excited to continue doing this on a weekly basis. My sincerest apologies for missing the second week last week. I had a bunch of personal shit going on, but we're back. And today we're going to be starting out with a quick review of the new Tyler, the Creator album, Don't Tap the Glass, followed up by my review and thoughts on the new Fantastic Four movie. And we're going to end the morning off by introducing two new segments to the program that I'm super excited about. The Hardwood Report, immediately followed by the Turf Report. My basketball and football segments respectively. So stick around, today's going to be a fun one. So starting off with Tyler's album, I can't lie, I have super mixed feelings about it. I do think it's overall a good sound and a decent album, but it feels rushed. Feels like not finished or really cohesive to me. It sounds like it's something that Tyler probably made in his free time when he was on tour or while he was working on Chromacopia. I do love the album artwork a lot. I'm a big fan of that. I like the, not cluttery, like the janky kind of like, it's like a painting I think, but it's like the kind of cutout painty, janky type look to it. I'm a fan of the album cover a lot. I like it a lot. But there's just a lot. The best way I could describe my issues with the album is that a lot of the songs left me wanting way more. Like, all of Momanem, it really feels like it's going to drop into a really bass-heavy, like, it sounds like it's going to, like, drop into a song like Stop Playing With Me. But the transition between them being their own two tracks and then the transition between the two tracks, it just left a lot to me that I really wasn't a fan of. And the same way how, like, the beginning of I'll Take Care of You is amazing. It sounds great. I honestly, the first half of I'll Take Care of You is one of my favorite Tyler, the Creator things he's ever done. But then when it actually drops into the rest of the song, it drops into, like, this drum and bass type, like this drum and bass type beat that just, I wasn't vibing with it. It's not what I wanted. I wanted it to be like more of the super synth heavy, like bass heavy type, not trap beat, but like just not what it was. And it like let me down a lot. And there's a lot of things like that on the album that let me down in that way. And that's like my biggest issues with it. But for the best tracks, I have Ring, Ring, Ring. That's one of my favorites. The first half of I'll Take Care of You. Don't Tap the Glass / Tweakin'. That one was really good, especially the second half. Tweakin' was awesome, or I guess the ending, because Tweakin' is mostly the ending. I really liked that part a lot. I liked where that went. I liked how that sounded. Stop Playing With Me, I also liked it a lot. That song was great. I didn't love the build-up on Momanem, but the song itself was really good. For my least favorite tracks, I've got Big Poe, the second half of I'll Take Care of You. I was one of my least favorites. And Momanem, kinda, I also put in the least tracks as well. Sucker Free, I also put in the least liked tracks. I wasn't super huge on that one either. Oh, and I forgot, I put it later in my notes for some reason. In the best tracks, Sugar on My Tongue is also really good. I was a really big fan of that one as well. So, I don't know. Of Tyler's albums since Flower Boy, it's probably one of the weaker ones to me, despite it does have kind of a pretty big replay value. Like, I have been coming back to it a pretty decent amount, but just because of the sonics of it, you know? The best tracks on it are really solid tracks. The worst tracks on it are still pretty solid, but I don't love them as much. Overall, I'm going to give Don't Tap the Glass by Tyler, the Creator a 6.5 out of 10. Now we're going to jump straight into my review of Fantastic Four First Steps, directed by Matt Shakman, and I think shadow directed by the Figanator, but we'll talk about that. And before we get into spoilers, as always, I'll give my Letterboxd review for the boys back home who haven't seen it yet. I gave it 4.5 stars and said the pacing is definitely a little weird, but I love all the characters and I cannot wait to see more of them, and honestly that's the most important part, IMO, aka In My Opinion. So now, before we get into it, I want to say, as always, spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Do not listen to this section if you do not want spoilers for Fantastic Four First Steps. Now, where Fantastic Four First Steps excels in one major way above all else, it makes you give a shit about the Fantastic Four family. Through the pacing issues, the scenes that were cut out, which I will talk about in a minute, and everything else, I loved Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards, Vanessa Kirby's Susan Storm, Joseph Quinn's Johnny Storm, and Ebon Moss-Bachrach, I hope I pronounced it right, his take on Ben Grimm. Pedro plays Reed in such an almost subdued way. He isn't loud, he isn't wild, he's very quiet and calculated. I'd say he's damn near neurodivergent in this movie. The scenes he shines the most are when he's using his brain, because honestly, the stretching wasn't super useful in this movie. He didn't really use it that much. Like, he does use the powers against Galactus when he fights him, and there's a few other times on the whole, like when he fucking kicks that monkey into the water. But he's probably the least power-using character in the whole movie, and another issue I have with that is, I don't know. I've read a decent amount of Fantastic Four comics. I've seen a decent amount of Fantastic Four stuff. And I feel like the part where Galactus, like, stretches him and he's, like, ripping his, like, clothes and in pain, I think they nerfed him a little bit. He can stretch more than that, and it's a little bit, I kind of was like, what the hell? I feel like that kind of was, I feel like they nerfed him. I didn't love that. But he is, I like I said, I still think he is the least power-using character in the whole movie. Besides Ben, he really doesn't do a whole lot either. And I think he suffered the most from the scene cuts as well, because, like, at the beginning, he meets Natasha Lyonne's character, and they hit it off a little, and it's a cute little scene, and then we see him look over at her, like, one time in the entire movie, and then at the end, he goes to see her as if they've been in love the whole time. Like, I don't know what they cut out, but it was enough for me to be confused, and it just didn't make sense. And while we're talking about scenes getting cut out, the pacing and the editing throughout kind of threw me for a loop a couple times. I think the movie takes place over the course of like a year, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. Unless Sue was pregnant for like a super incredible, incredibly short amount of time, but I don't think so. I think that they just jump around a lot, and like it's a little jarring. Like there's at one point where Sue, at the beginning of the movie, she takes her pregnancy test. She is pregnant. She announces to everyone that she's pregnant. And then it's only like in the second act, it seems like it's like the next day they're going to space and she's like giving birth. So the linearness of the story and the way that it's edited and paced, it doesn't really let you know that. And it's kind of that way for the whole thing, and it's a little bit confusing. Only a slight nitpick in my opinion, but it is a nitpick nonetheless. Before I get too far away from the characters, I do want to also say that Johnny and Sue are fantastic.
Say that again?
I was scared of Eddie Munson being in this movie, but he was super good. Realistically, Johnny saves the whole day at the end. He also flames on, like, constantly. He probably uses his powers the most in this whole movie, aside from Sue, who's arguably, I think, the real star. She's kind of the main character. But Johnny's flaming on all the time. They look over at him, and he's, like, lit on fire, and he's flying up somewhere doing some shit. So it's not... He's using his powers the most by far. But like I said, Sue, I think, is one of the is the main character. She's girl bossing out in a group of fully capable men. So when she was doing her motherly, wifely type things she would do, it didn't feel like, oh, the woman has to clean up after the men. The woman has to fix the stupid men's mistakes. Women clean up after men. Ha ha. Like, Reed, Ben, and Johnny are three of the smartest and most responsible people on Earth, so it makes it even better when Sue is going hard on something or being the heart of the family, because she grounds them so well. Like, the only time that they ever are shown to be, like, fucking something up and, like, being like, oh, dumb men, like, at the end when they're trying to, like, hook the, what's it called, the baby carrier, the seatbelt, oh my god. Like, the seat for the baby, they're trying to hook it up, and they're, like, fucking it up. And it's like, haha, obviously, that's sick. Everyone can relate to that. But aside from that, they're, like, super fucking capable. There's no stereotype, like, the woman's the smart one, the men are the stupid ones. I'm also super excited to see what happens with Franklin. I've seen a million complaints about, like, talking about him being a CGI baby and complaining about the CGI in general, and I just gotta say, one, a newborn baby cannot be on an MCU movie set doing the things CGI Franklin did. That's just ridiculous. It's a high-stress situation. There's sounds going off everywhere. There's people yelling. There's explosions. A little-ass newborn to 6-month-old baby shouldn't be there. Like, you can deal with the CGI a little bit. It also didn't even look bad. It just isn't a real baby, so it stands out easier. And that's a big part of another issue is that sometimes in a superhero movie, things are going to look a little unnatural. It doesn't take me out of it at all when Johnny is standing on a green screen looking background while he says some words, because it doesn't need to be exactly perfect. He's talking to a silver woman. Those don't exist in real life. They're going to look a little fucked up sometimes. It's not all going to be perfect. And that's my little rant on CGI. I think people they take CGI way too seriously. And they need to chill out a little bit. Just enjoy the movie. It doesn't have to look like fucking... I don't know. I can't think of a good CGI movie, but you know what I'm saying. And while we're talking about stuff that looks good, doesn't look good, the suits. The suits are so fucking good. I wasn't sure about the blue collar on Reed, like when I first saw him, as opposed to the white on everyone else, but it works really great. And the suits are all practical. You can see them fold and ripple and like move around. Like you can tell they're actually wearing those and they actually made them. They're not like the nanotech CGI suits, like, which I don't always have a problem with, but like when Spider-Man's wearing them and it's not folding at all, you can tell it's kind of annoying. I just thought it was great. I thought the suits were good. The CGI was perfectly fine for the movie, and I liked it. And I also want to mention that while I do think Galactus was cool and brooding and pretty scary, I find him a little bit boring, at least in terms of this movie. I like him as a threat for like them to work around, but in terms of the actual fight / like climactic part of the movie, he kind of sucked a little bit. He was way too overpowered, and just I don't know, the fight wasn't that great. The three boys of the four can't really do shit against him. He makes pretty quick work of all of them. And while it does give Sue a really good scene and show us that she is by far the most powerful of them all, I still wanted a bit more on an entertaining final battle and not just him fucking mowing them down and then Sue taking care of business at the end. But it's fine. It was still a good scene. And it served the purpose of showing that Sue is the best of the four. So all in all, I think Fantastic Four First Steps was a great introduction to this Fantastic Four, and I honestly can't wait to see more of them. I can't wait to see Doomsday, and I had a great time. 4.5-star movie. Can't wait to watch it again. And also, just real quick, while we're on the topic of Marvel and the MCU, the mid-credits scene with Kevin Feige stated that was Robert Downey Jr., it wasn't a stand-in. I just want to talk about that. Him playing Doom. Do I think it's an odd choice? Yeah. But if you think there's going to be no relation to Iron Man and that RDJ is just going to play Doom because they like him as an actor and have absolutely zero relation to having the same face as Iron Man, you're pretty out of your fucking gourd. Kevin Feige is not stupid. Like, he knows that if he's going to do something as controversial as bring Robert Downey Jr. back after he was killed in probably the most meaningful scene of the entire MCU, he knows that he's got to do it in a well-thought-out, good way. I have faith, kind of, maybe more hope than anything, that they do it right. I think he'll be able to. I think they'll pull it off. I think it'll be entertaining, and I think it'll be good. But I don't know. I'm really hoping, mostly hoping, maybe not just full faith, but Thunderbolts was good. Fantastic Four was good. They're leading in a good direction, and I really hope that Doomsday and Secret Wars are good. And this whole soft or hard reset, they didn't even say it was a soft reset, this hard reset of the MCU that they're going to do, I think it's in the best interest of it, and I think it's going to be really good. And I'm hopeful for the future. I'll say that. And we'll check back in on this when it all comes out, and we'll see if I was wrong and they absolutely washed it, or they stuck the landing and it was perfect. I doubt there's going to be an in-between, but we'll find out. So now, without further ado, I'm happy to introduce the new sports-themed segments. First up is the Hardwood Report. This is going to be a segment where every week we're going to talk NBA, we're going to talk basketball. I'm trying to get into WNBA, so maybe we're going to talk a little bit about that as well once I get a little bit more knowledge about it. Up until the season starts, it's probably going to be a lot shorter. We're going to talk about hypothetical stuff. We're going to talk about pretty much whatever I want to talk about with it. And then once the season starts up, it's going to be more of a recap of the games that you should have watched, the highlights, the scores, the lowlights, just stuff that happened in general. And the Turf Report's going to be the same way. That's going to be up until the NFL season starts. It's going to be a bunch of hypothetical stuff. It's just going to be talking in general. And then we're going to be doing recaps. We're going to be doing predictions. We're going to be doing stuff like that, just rough outlooks. So essentially what I want to start with today is I want to start with something lighter today, something that we can just look at and say, what what teams should we watch this upcoming season? What are some teams that my friend Andrew, aka Funeral Burgundy, says I should watch out for as a casual NBA fan? I wouldn't say casual. I'm a pretty big NBA fan. I'm not super analytical about it. I'm not what slaps, you know. But the first team that I have written down that I think you should look out for this upcoming season is OKC. I'm not a massive OKC fan. I wouldn't even say I'm a casual OKC fan. I really only watched their games a little bit during the finals and when they played Boston last year. But I think that they're in for a season that's going to be pretty similar to the Chiefs season last NFL season, where they're going to have a target on their back. They have SGA, who just won MVP. So he won MVP. God, sorry. He won MVP and he won the championship. But he just has like this foul baiter style of playing where he shoots free throws a lot. And I hate saying that about people. I hate saying that they are foul baiters or that they're free throw merchants. But he really does. It's not a very fun... Like, he doesn't play a style that's fun to watch, in my opinion. But because of that, I think people are going to start targeting their game plan around him. And I don't see OKC going back-to-back. I see them having probably a pretty good season. I see them having a season like the Cavs had this year, where for a lot of the season, people are going to be like, damn, they might go back-to-back. They might go back-to-back. This is going to be crazy. And then they're probably going to be like a second-round exit, honestly. I don't see them going back-to-back, especially with everything that we have going on in the offseason. OKC also, they signed a Supermax for Chet, SGA, and Jalen Williams. Jalen Williams was not that good, in my opinion. He is not Supermax worthy. Chet missed a bunch of games, and he's really solid, but I feel like he just doesn't serve the purpose he used to serve. But alas, I digress. They gave him all three. They're definitely going to be over the second apron pretty soon, and I think they're in win-now mode to try to go back-to-back, and I don't think they're going to. They're not really making many big off-season moves that I've seen. I haven't really researched it that much, but there's nothing that's popped up that's been super important. So they haven't been doing anything as crazy as like last year where they got rid of Josh Giddey for Alex Caruso. And I don't know. In my honest opinion, do I think they can do it again? No, I don't think that they can. And I'll have a whole separate video where I talk about who I think is going to be contenders and who I really think is going to win. But for right now, OKC, they're not on my radar. I don't think that they're going to do it again. Another team that I think is going to be good to watch out for this season is the Rockets. I'm not super well versed in the Rockets, but I mean their starting five is looking like it's going to be Fred VanVleet, Amen Thompson. It's going to be either Dorian Finney-Smith or Jabari Smith Jr. I don't know either of them enough to know which one is going to be starting. I know they just picked up Dorian in either free agency or a trade. I don't remember exactly what they did, but I don't know. I don't know if he's going to start or if Jabari is, but either way. KD is going to be at the 4, and Alperen Sengun is going to be at the 5. And I think the Rockets, they're going to be heavy contenders. I don't know if necessarily they have what it takes to get to the finals and win the finals, but I know that Kevin Durant is hungry right now. He's old as fuck. KD is so old, and he's kind of a bitter old man when it comes to, like, the reactions to stuff he has online and the way he talks about stuff. And, like, leaving the Suns. Granted, the Suns are a pretty garbage team, but KD wants to win. He wants to win again. He wants another ring. There's a whole video that What Slaps just put out the other day talking about ring chasers. I think that KD is turning into a ring chaser now. And I do think that the Rockets have a chance. I do think that they have a chance to get it, and they're going to be a team to watch. I'm excited for it. I've never been a Rockets guy because I really didn't like Dillon Brooks. But I don't know. Now they got KD. They got a young squad around him. I think it's going to be good. I'm definitely going to be checking out some of their games. Next year I have to watch out. I think these guys are going to be heavy contenders, and I'm also a fan of them. The Denver Nuggets, I think, are really going to be going for it this year. They've made a lot of offseason moves. They've made a lot of trades. The starting five for them right now is I'm pretty sure it's going to be Jamal Murray, Christian Braun, Cam Johnson, who was on the team when they won the championship, instead of Michael Porter Jr., Mr. The Rock stays with me and I don't make it. And Aaron Gordon, I'm just a huge Aaron Gordon fan. And Jokic, I'm also a huge Jokic fan. So I think the Nuggets are going to be extremely fun to watch. I think they're going to be extremely they're extreme contenders. I think they are also in win now mode. They want to win. They want to get another championship. They want to keep Jokic there. Last season was not good enough for Jokic to continue to be there if it's going to be like that. It was really obvious they were going super hard playoff time when they had Westbrook on the team. I don't know if he's re-signed with them or if he is off into free agency or whatever he's doing. But as far as I know, he's not going to be on the Nuggets going into the season, which I don't think he's really going to make a difference anyway. But I think they're going to be a fun team to watch. They're going to be pretty heavy contenders as well. And next up, I have the Spurs, the San Antonio Spurs. I think we all know Victor Wembanyama is one of the funnest players to watch. He's crazy. His height is insane. I saw reports that he had another growth spurt and he's like 7'6" now-ish. But you've seen the pictures. He's off in the fucking like Tibetan wilderness with monks, like shaving his head. He's talking shit about Karl Malone on Twitter. I think we're going to see this Spurs team come in with so much momentum when the season starts. I think that they're just right out the gate. They're going to be crazy. Wemby is going to be firing on all cylinders. They've got so many good players now. They've got De'Aaron Fox. They've got Stephon Castle. They've got Devin Vassell. They've got Harrison Barnes. Plus, they just got Dylan Harper in the draft. And they got my sweet, sweet, sweet boy Luke Cornett to be backup center. And honestly, not even maybe backup center. They could throw Wemby at the 4 and throw Luke Cornett at the center. And that would be solid too. I think the Spurs are going to be like electric to watch. I think they're going to be incredible this season. I think they're one of the strongest contenders that we have in the NBA right now. I would love to see. One of the questions I have written down here, are we getting into another golden age of the Spurs? Because it seems they can't stop winning. You know that TikTok where the guy's like, I can't stop winning? Kind of seems like the Spurs. They were not that great Wemby's first year when I first started watching basketball, but now they're getting to a point where I think that they're going to be more than solid, especially with the core that they've built around Wemby at this point. It's awesome. I can't wait for it. Definitely a team to watch. And last but not least, I also think that one of the teams that we should really be keeping our eye on this season is the Mavericks. I kind of fell off of Maverick fever last season when they traded Luka, and they were like talking, I don't know, they were like on Reddit, like the Maverick Reddit was like talking about fucking having like a disaster draft. They were about to like kill 5 players so they could get someone in there. But I don't know, it seems like they're turning around. Anthony Davis seems like he's enjoying it there. If he can stay healthy, I think he's going to be a really, 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 really good player there. D'Angelo Russell, I mean, it's weird. It's kind of looking like a Lakers graveyard having Anthony Davis and D'Angelo Russell. But he's just going to be Kyrie light while Kyrie's out. I think D'Lo, he sucks. Like, I'm sorry, D'Angelo Russell. He's not that great. He just gets thrown around. It doesn't really matter what he's going to do. He's just there to fill a roster spot and get a couple threes a game. Clay, I hope that Clay dating Megan Thee Stallion like makes him lock in and he goes a little bit harder than he was kind of complacent last season and it wasn't amazing, but I don't know. I think their starting 5 is going to be D'Angelo Russell at the 1 until Kyrie gets back. Clay, Cooper Flagg, who as we know from the last podcast and where I'm from, I'm super excited to see. Anthony Davis at the 4, and I think the 5 is either going to be Derek Lively Jr. or Daniel Gafford. The only thing I'm concerned about is that it might be too big. Like, everyone on that team, besides, like, D'Lo, Kyrie, and Clay are, like, 6'10 or above. So, that's going to be good for, like, rim protection, but when it comes to speed and, like, defense, I don't know. Anthony Davis is a good defender. Cooper Flagg's also a good defender. I don't know. I just know that's a big-ass team. There's a lot of shit going on there. There's a lot of height. I don't know. I think that it's going to be fun. I think they're going to be fun to watch, and I'm looking forward to it. The Mavs, I think they're going to have a good season, despite all the Luka stuff that's been going on. I think that, unfortunately, this season will be the real determining factor, because for a while it was looking like Luka on the Lakers won the trade. Like, it looked like Luka's on a better squad. He's going to be doing better. The Mavs are in shambles. But the Mavs got the first pick. They've made a lot of good roster moves. I think that the Mavericks might be getting the better of the trade, and I think that Nico Harrison might kind of be onto something there. As much as I like Luka and I like seeing him in a Mavs jersey, I don't know, because the Lakers are kind of, I mean, they got DeAndre Ayton, if that matters for anything. But I don't know. We'll see. Only time will tell. And next we're going to switch up the floor and talk about some football. This is the Turf Report. And just like with the Hardwood Report, we're going to talk about some teams to watch this season. It's going to be a little bit more simple because, I don't know, I'm not as into football as I am basketball, but I am paying attention to it. I'm getting more into it. I've got a fantasy league that's about to start up that I'm super excited for. But basically, on the whole, just to start off, I think the Chiefs are going to be a team that either are going to be fun to watch this season or they're going to be garbage to watch this season. The Super Bowl was fucking horrible. That was an abysmal performance by the Chiefs. You could tell that they planned to stop Saquon Barkley, and that's it. They didn't plan anything else. They thought they were going to walk their way into the Super Bowl, and they were going to fucking get the championship, and that's all that was going to happen. And that's not what happened. It was a horrible performance from Patrick Mahomes. They have nobody that can keep Patrick Mahomes safe in the pocket. They had no answers for Jalen Hurts at all. I don't know. I did see they extended George Karlaftis. That's good. He's one of their better defenders. But I'm here and there on if the Chiefs are even going to be worth watching this season. Last season, like I said, I think they had what I'm calling the Chiefs disease, where the whole season it felt like we were building to the Chiefs three-peating, and then they just shit the bed. They just shit the bed bad in the Super Bowl, and I lost a lot of money. But that's how that's going to be. I think next up I've got the Bills. Josh Allen's coming off of an MVP year. I think he's going to keep being fucking nutty. Josh Allen is one of the he's one of the most fun football players to watch. He's diving around all the place. He's fucking rushing. He's fucking throwing bombs. Josh Allen's awesome. I think the only issue is, like, who else do they really have on the Bills? You know? Like, household names for someone who's not invested in every single player. There isn't really anyone else on the Bills that's really, off the top of my head right now, I really can't name another Bills player. If you gave me a minute, I probably could. But I just think Josh Allen needs some help. I think that he needs some help, and he needs to the team needs to lock in a little bit more, or they're just going to be stuck in Patrick Mahomes' hell, getting knocked out by the Chiefs. Next up, I have the Ravens. The Ravens are also fucking nutty. Lamar Jackson was my quarterback in fantasy last year, and he essentially carried the entire time. Lamar Jackson can run. Lamar Jackson can pass. He can pass to himself if he needs to pass to himself. He's crazy. I love Lamar Jackson. Derrick Henry, also insane. They got Justin Tucker out of there, hopefully. Fuck that guy. He was bad. They've still got Mark Andrews, and I think that Mark Andrews got a little bit too much blame when it comes to that, when he dropped it at the end of that game last season. But, I don't know. I think it's been said a lot. It's been said a couple times, but with the Ravens, it's not really a question of if they're going to win the Super Bowl or if they're going to win a Super Bowl. It's a question of when they're going to win a Super Bowl. What year are we going to get a Super Bowl win from the Ravens? Can it be this year? Maybe. I've seen crazier things. I think it might be. Will it be next year? If not this year, definitely. I think within the next 2 years, we're going to see a Ravens Super Bowl. And I'm here for it. I like it. I love the Ravens. They're great. Next up, just as the last one I want to talk about real quick, this is the Turf Report's going to be quick this week because I didn't really prepare this segment as much. I'm just kind of flying off the cuff here. But my hometown team, the Patriots, the New England Patriots, the question I have written down for them this season is, can they be good? Can they not suck? I think maybe. Maybe they can be like a 7 or 8 win team this season. Drake May is unbelievable. He's looking like he might be the next Tom Brady in New England. I know a lot of people might get mad at me for that, but he's giving hope. Drake May is giving hope to a bunch of New England Patriots fans that last year did not have hope. Especially, I'm pretty sure Mike Vrabel is going to be the coach this year instead of boof-ass Gerard Mayo saying his team is soft. Brother, that's your team. Like, you have to make them not soft. But I don't know. I think Drake May is going to be really good. We've got Will Campbell that we just drafted. I think Drake May is going to be doing laps in the pocket before he throws it, or he's going to rush it. I've heard Ramondre Stevens. I don't know if it's Stevens or Stevenson, but he's been doing better. I've been seeing videos of him at training camp, and I think he's going to be better. I think Stephon Diggs will be an amazing addition if he can stay healthy and not do fucking coke on a yacht with Cardi B. But alas, we'll find out. I'm really hoping that the Patriots can lock in, and maybe we'll see a Patriots Super Bowl in the next 10 years. I'd like that. I'd be a fan of that. I've been a little bit spoiled my entire life when it comes to the Patriots, but I'd like to see it again. That's all I've got for the Turf Report and the Hardwood Report. That's going to be a recurring segment that we talk about every week. Sometimes they're going to take over the whole pod. Sometimes they're not going to. We'll see how I'm feeling that week. Also, I just want to let everyone know in the coming weeks, it's probably going to be next week, we're going to have my first interview on Sunday Skate Hour. My personal friend and one of my favorite artists, Peesh, he's going to call into the program, and I'm going to ask him some questions about his music, his upbringing, and his new album, The Odyssey, which is streaming everywhere right now. So that's awesome. I'm super excited for that, and I'm excited for you all to be along the ride with me. And fire truck's going by. But that's all I've got for you today. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell, leave a comment. I'll always reply to every comment. This has been the second installment of Sunday Skate Hour. I'm your host, Andrew, a.k.a. Funeral Burgundy, signing off.